Right. Welcome, friends. Today I have a special guest with us and just wanted to introduce her to you real quick. Her name is Renee Bethel. And I met Renee, gosh, it's been a couple of years maybe now.
Yeah.
And we met through a mutual group that we were both in called the Honor Circle and just connected there. And we have kept in touch ever since then. And she is an Enneagram life coach for Christian women. And she's going to tell us all about the Enneagram and what that means. But she really focuses on helping Christian women grow into accessing who they are and what they have as a loved child of God. And I love how she approaches this, and she's also the author of the Finding Me Journal, which I know she'll probably share a little bit with us about as well. So, thank you, Renee, for coming on and sharing today. And just tell us a little bit about you, your life, your family, whatever you want to share.
Okay, sure. Thanks so much for having me. And yeah, it's so fun to that you reached out, and I know you've been in a challenge that I had, and that was so fun. I enjoyed that so much having you there. And yeah, so thanks for what you shared there. And yeah, I'll just add to that. Like most of you, I'm a child of God, and I love to say that I express Christ's life in me as a wife, as a mom, as a grandmother. I have three sweet little grandchildren, and we're expecting another one in November. And then our number five is going to be in March of next year. So that's so fun and exciting. And, I just love spending time with my family. And, that's a big part of the reason why I do the things I do, just to invest in them, give back, impact them, and share. As a Enneagram Type 5, I love to learn, and I love to share what I learn with other people. And I'm so excited to be here to be able to do that today.
Thank you. Yes, that was so good. So, you're going to give us a little overview of what the Enneagram is. So, pretend we know nothing and tell us what that means and a little bit of how that works.
Okay, sure. So, what I would love to do as we get started today is just to start with just giving a little background about what makes understanding your personality important as a child of God. And so, being made in God's image, we are three-part spiritual beings. That's body, soul, and spirit. And so, your personality is part of your soul. And I know that was new information for me last year when I learned that. And so, I don't think, even though a lot of us have been believers for many years, we probably have never really even thought about that. Um, and a lot of times we probably look at personality as just something fun to do, and we truly bypass the learning and the growth that we can receive from that. And so I'm really passionate about helping, Christian women in particular, just learn more about this personality tool of the Enneagram. And so it does truly help you understand what's going on in your soul. It reveals the motivations or the why behind your thinking, your feelings, and your actions. And it consists of 9 personality types, and each personality type has their own unique perspective. And you can think of it like this. If you are seeing with a purple lens and your friend is seeing with a green lens, then of course you're both going to be coming at everything, looking at it from a different perspective, a different way. You're going to be seeing in green, I'm going to be seeing in purple. And so, as you can imagine, that is ripe environment for conflict, right? And so that's the beauty of this tool. It can help you understand yourself and others, and move towards seeing others through, with passion, with grace, with understanding, and also seeing yourself that way. And so, understanding your personality can also help you identify behaviors that may not be reflecting your new identity in Christ. And it can give you language to understand what's going on in your soul. It can increase your confidence and give you tools to foster more meaningful connections with yourself, with God, and with other people. And I do want to just mention one thing because, sometimes we hear a lot of information about the Enneagram and we kind of just receive that and store it in the back of our minds without fully investigating it. So I just want to throw this out there and let you guys know that because the Enneagram is a non proprietary system, meaning that no one owns it, you may see it being used and interpreted in various ways by teachers of different faiths and backgrounds. So, personally, myself, as an Enneagram coach, everything that I share is from a grace based biblical perspective. So, in all of my coaching, that's the lens that I am learning from, that I'm receiving from, and that I'm also sharing with my clients, and that I'll be sharing with you guys today. And so, would you like me just to kind of share a brief description of each personality type at this point?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay. Okay, so as I said, there's 9 personality types. And so as a type 1, you want to be seen as good. And you can also struggle with self-condemnation. And bear in mind that these are, as you can see, they're just not even a sentence hardly of what I'm sharing. So please know that, each personality type has so much more than what I'm sharing here. And there's so much to unpack. But just for time here today, I'm just going to share this briefly, just to kind of give you some insight as we kind of talk through how we show up and how we interact with Bible study and our morning routine in our talk today. So moving on to type 2, they want to be seen as loving. They have a deep desire for connection and relationship with others. And they truly have a gift of reading the room, and they can sense when others have a need. I've seen this play out with so many clients that I've coached, and then also with my family members who I know are twos. And so it's fun when you kind of know some of these things, you can start really seeing how people are showing up. Also, we're on number 3. So threes are typically focused on getting things done fast and efficiently. They like to check off those to-do lists. And they also may have a charisma that draws others to them. Type 4s are very creative, and they have a gift for being able to sit with others in deep feelings. And they also want to be seen as very unique. And type 5s are known as learners, and they also desire to find meaning, and they're searching for meaning, and they can also struggle with holding on to resources like time or privacy. Type 5s are known for putting up boundaries. Type 6s want to have support. This is the type on the in the all of the Enneagram numbers that struggles with anxiety the most. And they like to try to predict and prevent negative outcomes. They like to always think ahead and be prepared for whatever may happen. Type 7s, these are the personality types who bring joy. You may see them referred to as the life of the party. They love to be spontaneous. They're always ready for an adventure. And they're definitely the friend who always cheers everyone up. Type 8s are known as natural leaders. They like to be in control of their environment, and they only let a few people see their softer side. Vulnerability is very hard for them. Type 9s, these are the personality types that sometimes it can be hard for a type 9 to find their personality type, because truly they can understand each of the personality types, and they have a gift for being great mediators, and they definitely do not like conflict. That's very difficult for them. They will run away from that and truly withdraw. You can see them physically doing that. And if not, they're not doing it physically, then you know, mentally they they have shut down because they're going to go along to get along. And so that is just a brief little synopsis of each one of the types.
That's good. It's funny as you read those off, even though it's just very brief description, I'm like, okay, I think my husband's this type, and I can see, I think I'm pretty sure I know somebody who's a 6. And yeah, that's really fun to think about. And then I know there's so much more that we can learn and use in our relationships, and even in our relationship with Christ, right? And that's a lot of what we're going to kind of talk about today. And so I think that's really good. I was talking to a friend today, and they're like, "Okay, so how do you know what type you are?" Well, you got to take the test. You got to take the little quiz. But I shared with her a little bit about some of my personality. I'm going to call them quirks because I don't know what else to say. But those that's description, right? I can hear myself in those as well. So tell us about the quiz and how you do that. So how do you find your type?
Yeah. So what I always recommend is starting with the Jerome Wagner Enneagram Personality Assessment. And so sometimes you can see that referred to as the WEPS, WEPSS, all caps. And so and that does stand for something. Wagner Enneagram Personality Spectrum something. I can't remember the last S, but
Close enough.
yeah. And so anyway, I recommend that one. That I've done some training around that one, and I feel like that personality test truly has a lot of scientific research behind it. And what I love about that one also, it will show you with your scores exactly how you show up for each one of those personality types. And you can also see which type you're using in a healthy way, or in which personality type you may be overusing, using in an unhealthy way. And just so everyone knows, being made in God's image, we all of us can show up as each one of these personality types, but we all have one that is our main type. And how you basically are going to determine that is, I always recommend start with the test, but that should never be the end all be all, because then after you get that information, definitely I'll recommend meeting with a coach, and this is one of the things that I do. And then we will go through a series of questions and look at your highest three scores, and then narrow that down. And as a coach, a coach should never tell you, oh, yes, this is your type, because that's always up to you. And because truly your type is determined by your core motivations. And so, your coach will go through those with you and see what resonates with you. Also, we will also look at instinctual subtypes. I know no one probably has ever heard that before, but that's another way that we can hone in to make sure what your type is. And typically at the end of that session, we'll go through several questions. We'll relate it to experiences that you've had, and we'll look at also triggers, things that bring up emotion in you, or it may bring up emotion, or it may bring up a feeling in your body, or just an unsettling in you. And when those come up, then, you know, those triggers we'll look at those triggers, and we'll look at the core motivations, and we'll see, based on the trigger, how is that connected to one of your core motivations, your core fear, your core desire, those things. And just make some connections there. And then at the end of the call, then I, as the coach, will say to you, okay, which personality type resonates with you the most? I'll never tell you here's your type. If you have a coach that's doing that, that's not truly, the best way to do that. So, because truly the coach will never know all the things about you that you'll be able to connect, even if you're not sharing all of those with the coach. And so, So definitely always, be mindful of that. And so, and then, always know that the test and even meeting with a coach and going through your results, it's truly the first step. There's so much to unpack with this because really when we think about ourselves, I mean, we are unique, very intricate creatures. We have so many nuances and so much to us. And that is just, you know, a testament to our creator God, right? Created in his image. There's so much to us just because we're made in his image. So yeah, that's kind of what I recommend.
Okay. And I just want to say, you've said it already, but there is no wrong personality type, right? We were created
Correct.
in God's image. So just because you are different than another family member or even your spouse, probably 90% of the time, spouses are different, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically.
So it doesn't make it wrong. It just makes you different. And God created us each individually and uniquely and wonderfully made. So just want to throw that out there that you don't have to be like anybody else,
Hmm.
but you can use this to your benefit. And I'll also say I've done this with Renee. I've done the little quiz, and then we talked about it, and she walked me through all those steps. And that part about those feelings kind of rising up in you, I remember that, and I can't remember all the questions and everything, but I remember those unsettling feelings, like, oh, we're getting a little too much here, right? Because it it hits home. And especially if you're talking to somebody that you don't know really well, you might back away from sharing all of that with them. So I love the way that you approach it and you ask the client, okay, which one of these resonates with you the most? Because then they can pick that without sharing all of the stuff that is coming up in them and the emotions and all the things. So I really love how you approach it and do it that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love what you shared there about there's no wrong personality and, being made in God's image. We all have a part to play in the body of Christ, right? Each personality type is needed and has a purpose for sure.
Yes, yes. We can't all be arms, can't all be legs, but the body
Yeah.
needs everything. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So let's go into, you've prepared a worksheet for us as we're doing the Elevate Your Mornings course, and you've agreed to share a little bit about our mornings and our Bible study. Let's go into what you've prepared, the Bible study methods that you've come up with each type, and just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I have something that I have created for everyone, and it basically is, as you said, Bible study methods by Enneagram personality type. And so, what it'll do, it'll show each personality type. And what I've done here for each personality type, I've put here how each type reflects God's character. And so, for example, Enneagram type ones reflect God's goodness, and Enneagram type twos reflect God's love. And so, just like, you know, we can all exhibit the fruits of the Spirit and we can all exhibit all of these things, but this is just something that, ones are known for, twos are known for, that kind of thing. And as you learn more about this, you will totally be able to see that in the people in yourself and the people you interact with. So that's so fun to see. And then also, it shows how that personality type might approach Bible study and also what their focus may be. And so, please note also that each personality type, there are never going to be two type twos that are exactly alike. And you'll
Mm,
see the difference there. Because of the instinctual subtypes, and I won't go into that at this point here, but basically I can tell you this. Think about this. Just like you go to a paint store and you're trying to paint a room, let's say you're trying to paint it green, you're going to see so many different shades of green. So you can think of each personality type. They all choose maybe green, but they're going to show up as different shades of green. And
Well, that's good.
yeah, so that's the beauty of that. So, and even if you don't resonate with everything on here under what you think your type is, that's okay, because sometimes even in coaching, certain words that describe a personality type, it may not sit well with you, and that's okay. You may have another word that you resonate with. I've seen this happen so much, and I've seen it with myself and with people I coach, and that's okay, because there again, each one of us is so unique. So, just understand and know that too.
All right.
And
That's good.
yeah, and would you also like me to go ahead and share, since we're talking about that worksheet, about the if you want to know more about the QR code that we have here? Okay, so
Yes.
here is on the back of this Bible study methods. There is a QR code here. If this has piqued your interest, then you can scan this with your phone and it will take you to a page that says find your Enneagram type. And I would love to help you guys do that. It will give information about, taking the test and then meeting with me to talk through your results. And I do have a special price. I have reduced my regular price on that for you guys. And so, that price reflected on that web page does include the $15 price for the Enneagram test. And just so you know, I'm not connected to that at all. That's a total separate entity that does the testing. And so I don't receive any of that money. So just be, if that makes a difference to anyone. Yeah, I highly encourage you guys, if you do not know your Enneagram personality type, this would be such a gift to yourself. And I definitely encourage you to explore this, because it's truly fascinating. I've been doing this work for a couple of years now, and I still am fascinated by all the depth to personality and all we can learn.
Yes. Yes. It is so enlightening to hear some of it. And then there's just so much. There's so much you can learn from it. So thank you for offering that special right to those that are participating in the course. And I encourage everybody, if you have not done this, to definitely take advantage of it. And if you do know your type, then still check in with Renee. And if you've already taken the quiz, then get with her and still talk with her through that and determine just some of the things that you can learn from your type. Um, let's see. I love that you have included this Bible study methods, and I'm just so excited to see how it relates to each type. So I hope that we get some feedback from people. So if you're listening to all this and you know your type or you find out your type, then definitely come back and let us know how that worksheet resonates with you, or even if it doesn't, right? Let us know your feedback from it, because we would love to hear that. Okay, Renee, is there anything we've missed that we need to talk about?
Well, one thing that maybe we could talk about is the centers of intelligence, which will help everyone kind of
Yes.
understand a little further, maybe how they're showing up in the mornings in particular. Um, would you like to talk about that now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So there are lots of groupings of threes or triads within the Enneagram system. And what's so beautiful about that, we are three-part beings, and within the Enneagram, there's so many threes. And so it's just the connection here between a lot of these things is really I just feel really truly feel like, this is it's not coincidental. It's just amazing, how it connects so well. And so One of the most common triads, is, as we talked about, is the centers of intelligence. And so that consists of the head triad, the heart triad, and the gut triad. Sometimes you can hear the gut triad also called the body triad. And so um, basically, these triads show you how you process, react, and respond to daily life. And so, just like with everything, with each one of the personality types, you can access all three centers of intelligence here. You can access your head, your heart, and your gut. Obviously, we are holistic beings. But you have one that you use more than the other two. And then you have one that you use second. And then the third one is typically repressed. And so that's so fun to see once you start realizing that. And then you can start seeing, and we'll talk further about that as we get into unpacking this a little further, how our centers of intelligence are repressed in our morning routine. So I'll just tell you, the thinking center, it consists of type 5, 6s, and 7s. The feeling center consists of types 2, 3, and 4. And the gut center consists of types 8, 9, and 1. And so each one of these centers has an emotional struggle and a common desire. So for the head center, they struggle, or the thinking center, they struggle with anxiety or fear, and their common desire is security. And so just to let you know a little bit about this to make it make more sense for you. So as a type 5 in the thinking center, they're concerned with problem solving. Type 6s are concerned with troubleshooting. Type 7s are concerned with making plans. And then the heart center, or the heart triad, is, as we said, 2s, 3s, and 4s. So type 2s here are concerned with their emotional struggle is shame. All of the 2, 3, and 4, the emotional struggle is shame, and their common desire is significance or identity. So how that plays out is type 2s are concerned with, they internalize their emotions. Type 3s are going to suppress their emotions, trying to forget them. Even though they are in the heart center, there is one, I didn't say this for the 6s, but they're thinking too much, so it's not productive. And so what's interesting here is there's a personality type, it's the type 3, 6, and 9, that are, even though they're in their particular center, for example, 3s are in the feeling center, but yet they try to suppress those, those feelings. So there's a number in each one of these triads that, it's not productive. And so it's interesting because the 3, 6, and 9 on the Enneagram symbol, those numbers on the symbol make up an equilateral triangle. And so it's just all of this, once you learn some of these things, it's really, really interesting. And so, so type 4s within the feeling center, they're going to externalize their emotions. And so you'll hear a lot of times type 4s are very emotional. They're going to sit in those emotions. They don't want to, feel it and get on with it. They're going to sit in there in those emotions and process it for a while. They can't move on right away. And so you may know someone like that. And so it could be they're an Enneagram type 4. And then the last center there, the gut triad or the body center, their emotional struggle is anger, and their common desire is justice. And so as a type 1, they are concerned with, all of these in the body center are concerned with controlling their outer environment and their inner world. A type 1 is going to do that with trying to see what needs to be done. Also trying to be in self-control, in control of themselves. A type 8 is going to be asking, how's my energy? Also, they're known as being the most aggressive type on the Enneagram personality types. And the type 9s, this is the type that is going to suppress, themselves, their comfort, they're looking at how their comfort is coming into play for what needs to be done. And so they are the self-forgetting type. So, even though they are in the doing center, sometimes, you can think of the gut center, the body center, the doing center, you can call it all of those things. And so type nines, even though they're in this doing center, a lot of times they're doing things, but it's not what needs to be done. It's not the thing, the productive thing. And so, it's just fascinating as I continue to tell you guys this. I never cease to be amazed at just the, depth and insightfulness of all of this, and how it's so it truly does describe so many people, right? You've probably thought
Yeah.
about more people as you as we've been talking
Yeah.
about this.
Yes, definitely. And so I just can't help but think or wonder, like, coaching with you on these, what Enneagram type I am versus what some of my friends or family might be. Just learning how to navigate different, like you mentioned earlier, conflict, or how you relate best, or what to avoid, or just noticing those things and then responding well to those things.
Mm,
I think there's so much there that could be helpful in our daily life.
yeah, I agree. Definitely. Once you kind of understand, especially in a spouse situation, then that gives you helps you give your spouse grace, because, oh, that's why they're responding like that. It truly will normalize a lot of things for you. And, that's a huge win right there, just to normalize things, because then that self-talk that we all do, like, oh, something is wrong with me, or I don't know why I can't do this right, I don't know why I have such a problem. Well, when you kind of understand how you're wired for a lot of these things, then you can give yourself grace. You can understand the reason why you're doing it. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because you know about this, it doesn't mean that if it's an unhealthy thing that gives you an excuse to sit in that. It just gives you awareness to how do I improve this? How do I grow in this area? And so, we always like to say that don't use the Enneagram as a sword or a shield, meaning that regarding a sword, you don't want to use it to beat yourself up or anyone else when you start learning about this, or as a shield where you hide behind that's just the way I am, or that's just the way you are, you know? And so just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that is a really good point. Very good point. Okay, let's tell everybody how they can contact you. We're gonna link everything in the description and in a place that you can find it easily. But go ahead, in case they're driving and listening, let's share with them how they can contact you. We've got the QR code, but how else?
Okay, sure. So, I'm also going to share a worksheet for Centers of Intelligence, and I'm just looking at that. It actually has my website on there, which is findingmechristiancoaching.com. And then also I'm on Instagram with the same handle, Finding Me Christian Coaching. And then, you can certainly email me at that same handle, Finding Me Christian Coaching at gmail.com. So I'd love to talk with anyone who's interested in learning more about this for sure.
Okay, great. And I encourage everybody to check it out and go look at her website. It's beautiful. And get in contact with her and find out what type you are. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk, we're going to reveal a little bit about ourselves. So, my type and Renee's type, and we're going to talk specifically about the Elevate Your Morning course and some specifics in that. So make sure you catch that video too. It's going to be linked here for you. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to do that and come back for it. Okay. I'll see you in a minute, Renee.
Okay.